Celtics' help defense has been their strength, particularly in the last month.
Anderson, who's played so well in the playoffs, with a beautiful pass up the tee, was stopped by McCullough. Here's Kittles, chased by Walker.
New Jersey looks to get out and run every time. Celtics, when they try and take it to the basket, leave the backcourt exposed.
So the Nets opening up on the run. Anderson, the pass behind the tee. Here comes Kidd again with the push. And Kittles gives New Jersey a 6-0 advantage.
When you play Jersey Nets, you don't need to be told that to get out and run. Jason Kidd will find you if you run the floor. But how about the New Jersey Nets getting out and running the floor? Jason Kidd always has his head up. Kerry Kittles runs the floor extremely well.
And Kidd already has 3 assists.
As the series goes on, you think you're close enough. If they're getting three-point shots off without dribbling the ball, you're not close enough.
Oh, beautiful pass. Van Horn finding Kittles on the hop.
That's the key to the New Jersey Net half-court offense. The reads, if you try and overplay, they love to open the floor and backdoor. Paul Pierce is getting the three-pointers up early.
Martin for Kittles. We have seen some beautiful passing at both ends. Here are these opening minutes, and the Nets now lead 13-8.
Transition defense is going to be so critical. The Nets, 8 transition points already.
And Kidd looked to peg it, goes short range to Kittles. And Horn gives it up. Here's Kittles eluding Anderson. Yes.
Excuse me, Marv, I thought it was overpassing, but they got the bucket anyhow. Kenyon Martin had a mismatch and didn't want to take it.
Strong start for Kerry Kittles. 5 of 6, 10 points. And the Nets, using their motion offense, have a 19-14 lead with 5.5 remaining in the first.
It's in-motion offense. Long pass to Kenyon Martin. He finds Kerry Kittles. What a great look.
It's a 4-point lead for New Jersey over Boston. The Nets, though, got off to that blistering start. And during a timeout, Jim O'Brien gathered his team together and said, hey, guys, now you know what we're up against.
He didn't say it as politely as you just said it.
That's true.
They're out and they're running. Kerry Kittles runs the floor extremely well. They find him. Jason Kidd right there, easy finish. Great catch and pass by Kenyon Martin. Touch pass. Kerry Kittles has great quickness. Yes, he shoots the three-point shot very well, but he's a good finisher because of the great foot speed.
On NBC, getting balanced scoring, 10 apiece. From McCullough, Van Horn, and Kittles. Let's go to Andrea Joyce and Kerry Kittles.
All right, Kerry, how important was it for you guys to set the tone for this series and dictate the pace this way in the first half?
It's very important. I mean, you're going up against a very dangerous team in Boston. You know, they're a quality team, and for us to be home court advantage, to take advantage of it, and to come out and play hard in the beginning of the game is very important.
You struggled offensively earlier in the playoffs, but the last couple of games you've been on fire, averaging 19 points the last 2 games, 10 here in the first half. What's been different for you?
Just trying to be more active and trying to be more aggressive. You know, I've just been trying to sniff out more opportunities to try and take the ball to the basket and look for my shot more. My teammates are finding me, and I'm trying to be more active.
7 assists coming up momentarily on Verizon. O'Brien. Jack, incidentally, in an online website, picked the 76ers to beat the Celtics in the first round. Received immediate and emphatic reaction on that prognostication.
Well, we talked to them all yesterday, but Jack Ramsey is a tremendous natural resource. Jimmy O'Brien talks to Jack after almost every game about basketball on both ends, not just the offensive end.
Foul on Pierce, his third. So the Celtics with 3 team fouls. Nets have 2. The Nets now lead 63-56. That ends a 7-0 run for Boston.
Jimmy O'Brien got just what he wanted coming out of halftime. Some good defense. The Celtic role players stepped up.
Paul Pierce sitting out at the moment after picking up his 4th foul. Here's Kittles accelerating. 14 for Kittles, and the Nets up 69-60.
Well, he would cheat off of Wallace and be a double-team guy, Michael, on all of the dribbling and penetration in the paint. When they did that in game one, McCullough or Williams were laying the ball up.
Kerry Kittles, who had 14 points and was 5 for 7 from the field in the first quarter, ties the game. All right, Cheryl, this is the first time since the 83-84 campaign that the conference finalists were not in the playoffs in the previous year.
Great backdoor.
McCullough, Kittles, who puts it in, along with Kidd and Van Horn.
Now that was just what we saw in game one. A beautiful ball fake and a great back cut.
But not that time.
Paul's got to shoot that.
Kittles fires away. Kerry Kittles rattles in his first, and that could be huge. Kittles had an off game in game 2. Jason Kidd told us yesterday, he tells Kerry Kittles before every game, be aggressive.
You turn it over, they're going to be running down your throat the whole afternoon.
See, Walter McCarty has come in. Bad pass. That's Kidd's 3rd turnover in the opening quarter. And he knocks it away. Kittles goes at Pierce. Nice move from Kerry Kittles. And the New Jersey Nets have erupted here in the first quarter. A 14-point lead and a 22nd timeout.
Fast break basketball is what the New Jersey Nets love. You got to love that if you're Byron Scott. Kerry Kittles goes right at Paul Pierce. Can't let him shoot the ball. No layups in the playoffs.
The New Jersey Nets on the road, bouncing back with a terrific first 2 quarters after a disappointing home loss in game 2. Nice feed inside to Kittles. The ball movement has been exceptional. That's their 17 assists on 23 field goals.
They're all willing to distribute the ball, and Todd McCullough, a big center with good hands, as Kerry Kittles steps in and goes coast to coast.
And just like that, it's the largest lead of the game.
Celtics had it back close. They were back in the game, and then they got careless with turnovers.
And the Celtics hearing some boos from the crowd. New Jersey playing on all cylinders right now, PJ.
Well, we're going to find out right away. You'll see the energy level of the Boston Celtics in these first couple minutes.
Kittles mishandles it. Shot clock, still plenty of time. 6 left. Kittles makes the move. High arcing shot. And the lead up to 22. This crowd was so fired up at the start of this game, and New Jersey came out, went up 20-6 before the blink of an eye, and completely took the crowd out. Battie right there on the follow. Battie can't hit it. Van Horn the rebound. Kittles running the floor, gets past, and he draws the foul. And let's send it over to Lewis Johnson.
Well, Mike, from the first half, the Celtics and their poor shooting. And as for the problems with Paul Pierce, when I asked him about that, nobody had an answer. Now, the Nets, on the other hand, on their way back to the locker room, kept yelling 0-0. Mike?
Thank you, Lewis. It's not a bad approach to take. It's hard to execute it when you're up by those kind of numbers.
It's 5-2 right now. Still good news for the Nets.
Kittles on a pull-up. Kerry Kittles finding the stroke. Kittles now at 13 points. He leads the Nets in scoring. They've got 4 players in double figures. It is hard to believe a 25-point lead.
Nets kind of walk it up. They want to execute a little bit in the half court right now.
New Jersey has not lost 2 straight games in the playoffs as Kittles puts that one down. Every time they've lost a game in the postseason, like game 1. Boston just 3 of 15 from downtown, but that was a big one. Kittles cutting inside, and he draws the foul. It's the 3rd team foul. Let's see if they call it near the act of shooting.
Paul Pierce looks like
Kittles gets the roll. That last foul against Tony Battie, his 3rd.
Aaron Williams has come alive. I think Jim O'Brien feels Rodney Rogers may be a better defensive matchup against the very active Aaron Williams.
Well, the Nets have struggled from the line all game, but they've hit 4 in a row here. 4 big ones. And they're back up by 12. Pierce. Martin, the offensive board. Still plenty of time, just under 4.5 to play. And that's where the Nets want the ball, in the hands of Jason Kidd. Kittles, nice move to get rid of Pierce. And Kerry Kittles has returned after a nightmare shooting game in game 2.
Let's credit Kenyon Martin with with the huge offensive rebound.
Kidd called for the foul. And Rodney Rogers will shoot free throws again.
Started with an offensive rebound. Kerry Kittles with the good hesitation and the pump fake. He doesn't want to take a three-point shot. That's a good decision. He gets into a more comfortable range. We've got more three-point shots made today than we had all day on Saturday.
Pierce on Kittles. Kittles for three. And the Nets now 4 for 4, including Kittles' first three-pointer of the series. He had been 0 for 17. McCullough on a good entry pass from Keith Van Horn has a chance for a three-point play.
You talk about unlikely guys. Kerry Kittles, who shoots 40% in the regular season, that makes him 1 for 18 in this series from the three-point line. Now Todd McCullough with a chance. New Jersey's only scoring in threes, Mike.
Walker picking up that foul. Kittles finally able to break the ice on the three-pointers.
About it, Mike. I think it's just that. It's not the mechanics. When you start thinking about it, doesn't matter how good a shooter you are, it affects your performance.
Jim O'Brien going to his bench early with Rogers, Delk, and McCarty. Kittles a three, knocks it down. Kittles 2 for 2 from downtown after going 0 for 17. And Jim O'Brien wants a timeout. For the second straight game, the New Jersey Nets off to a superb start. And Kerry Kittles part of a 10-1 run.
This is too good a look. Kerry Kittles, I don't care if he's missed 17 in a row, shot 40% from the three-point line in the regular season.
And the Nets 5 of 7 from downtown to start. They lead by 11.
Van Horn, that's a welcome sight. And Kerry Kittles, who had been struggling, he's back in the fold. Byron Scott has exactly the start he hoped for tonight.
They've not been a good three-point shooting team during the postseason. In fact, out of 16 playoff teams, they're 16th. During the regular season, they weren't one of the better three-point shooting teams, but it's certainly a key to their start.
He did that in the fourth quarter, and he's done it so far tonight.
After trailing by as many as 14, they've cut it to 5. Kittles rushed the shot, puts it in. Tough shot because Pierce contested it well. And Kerry Kittles now with 8 points.
Kerry Kittles actually had a very good game going Saturday afternoon until the fourth quarter.
Maybe his best playoff game until that fourth, but of course fourth pretty important. That's what his look was for. 10 on the shot clock as they inbound. Van Horn, Kittles, wide open three, nails it. Kerry Kittles, his third three-pointer after not hitting a single one in the first 3 games.
Kerry Kittles is too good a shooter to continue to struggle as he has.
And the lead back up to 9. Strong first half, though, overall for the Nets, including Kerry Kittles, who's with Lewis Johnson.
Right, Mike, thanks a lot. Kerry, once again, a lead slips away as we look back to game 3 now. Here you were up by as many as 14. Are you concerned about not being able to hold these leads on the Celtics?
Well, no, not at all. I mean, the Boston Celtics are a good team. We know we're not going to knock them out in one punch. This is a 48-minute game. We realized that from the last game we played hard and competed. Tonight's going to be the same way.
Now, there has been a positive change for you. You came in 0 for 17 from the three-point line, but you're 3 for 5 today. How much better does that feel to be able to have the basketball go in for you?
Well, it feels good, no question about it. I just stick with it and just keep playing my game. My game is a spread the defense type game, shooting the ball. I'll continue to do that.
Okay, Kerry, thanks and good luck in the second half. Mike Breen, back to you.
7 for 17 from the three-point line for the New Jersey Nets.
Anderson and Kidd with his 5th rebound. Kerry Kittles goes right at Pierce, and New Jersey comes out strong. They're back up by 11.
I don't know what Byron Scott tells his team before the game and at halftime, but they come out first and third quarter ready to play.
Crowd a little anxious. The mental part of the collapse probably won't really come into play until the fourth quarter as Pierce comes up way short.
Well, I think it's there. I think they had to cross one hurdle, and that was the way the game started. They obviously did a great job there as Kerry Kittles is forcing Jim O'Brien to call a timeout. His guys are not listening to what he's talking about at halftime.
You said that you knew Jason Kidd would come out strong after that collapse, but the question was, would players like Kittles and Van Horn? Well, Kittles and Van Horn have a combined 28 points, really helping out in the scoring department. And New Jersey back up by 13.
Kerry Kittles not settling for the jumper on the first trip. This time he pulls up and knocks it down in transition. The Nets are off and running.
Kittles started down floor and gave up the offensive rebound, but Walker can't take advantage.
Byron Scott always talks about that. When the Celtics get an offensive rebound, they get a quick free.
Kittles for three. Kerry Kittles with a terrific turnaround, especially from downtown. His fourth three-pointer. And the lead back up to 12. And Kittles with the steal. Pierce tries to foul him from behind. And Kerry Kittles with a 20-point game.
Well, I said in the open, other players are going to have to show up. I wasn't concerned with Jason Kidd. The entire New Jersey Net roster has showed up.
A little roller coaster right now as Jim O'Brien calls a 20-second timeout.
Where's Kerry Kittles been? He's here this afternoon, and he's shooting a three with his old confidence. Now some great defense. He reaches around, knocks it loose, and goes coast to coast for the finish.
Kittles with 9 of his 20 points here in this third quarter. And New Jersey back up by 14 points. Delp and Anderson on the floor at the same time. Trying to get free. Kerry Kittles inside. Pretty move from Kerry Kittles, who's got 22.
Good patience, and even though Kerry Kittles is shooting the ball better, that's making the defense play him, and he's beating him on the dribble.
A playoff career high 22 points for Kerry Kittles, who has bounced back from that bad fourth quarter in Game 3.
When the offense is struggling, you need some initiation on your own. Kerry Kittles, same thing. He uses the little screen, turns the corner, and beats the Celtics on the dribble.
So far, no meltdown for the Nets. They keep answering the challenges and lead by 6. The Sacramento Kings at Arco Arena hosting the LA Lakers tomorrow at 9 Eastern. Now, he told us that, so what have you done about it? He says, we've talked about it, we've challenged the players, they have to come out and execute it, but they obviously have not.
I thought they were a little frantic, but they have the guys shooting the ball when they wanted to. Kerry Kittles, he gets hot from the three-point line after struggling the first 3 games.
His problem, forgetting about those missed free throws.
Paul Pierce, 6 for 6 to start. He loves basketball. He's going to watch the tapes. It doesn't matter whether he plays well or not. He wants to learn, and he enjoys watching.
Kerry Kittles continues his fine play. Kittles with 5 points. He has led the Nets in scoring in each of the last 2 games. Was superb in Game 4 with 22 points.
We had a great Game 3 going, Mike, for 3 quarters, and then came up short in the 4th.
Walker misfires. Kidd with his 2 fouls, pushing it up. Kittles for 3. Once again, they're hitting from long range, 3 of 5.
Well, they're dominating the boards. You can't let New Jersey dominate you on the boards because they'll run you out of the building. It's 14-7 rebounds right now in New Jersey's favor.
They just look like the livelier team right now, as Kidd is going to come out and Lucius Harris will come in.
Well, these looks, Mike, we keep showing replays, and there's no Boston Celtics even near the shooter. Some of it's good offense because New Jersey's doing a good job swinging the ball to the weak side. Boston always helps out, so that's a good idea, but some of this is just poor transition defense.
Same scenario as the past couple of games. The Nets with a strong first quarter and getting it done from the perimeter, and Jason Kidd getting a lot of help, especially from Kerry Kittles.
Kerry Kittles is such a good shooter. He leads the New Jersey Nets in three-point shooting in the regular season. So he's the player you've got to locate, whether it's half court or whether it's in transition. Boston is just allowing Kerry to get way too many good looks. I don't care how many he misses in a row. Problem right here in the transition. Here's Kerry Kittles running the right side of the floor. Jason Kidd is pushing the ball up. The Celtics lose him. He cuts across to the middle. Nobody picks him up. He is wide open. After missing his first 17, Kerry Kittles is now 6 for 10. You knew that had to happen. He's too good a shooter.
Especially when he gets that much time. The Celtics are so concentrating on Jason Kidd when he gets in the paint. That's their #1 priority. Keep Jason Kidd out of the paint and watch him. That there's going to be some open shots for the New Jersey Nets. Early in the series, they weren't hitting them. In fact, Jim O'Brien said if they continue to make long shots, they'll probably win the series. But what he wants them to do after they look for Kidd in the paint, at least go out and challenge the shot.
And you've got to know who the shooters are. The people you locate on the perimeter are the shooters. They're missing Kerry Kittles. Right now, he's on fire. They've got to at least find him. The Boston defense is predicated on stopping penetration and protecting the basket, but you have to cover the good three-point shooters.
The Nets with Kidd on the bench as Kittles puts up another one. That's a 2. But Lucius Harris is the backup point guard.
He scores points in bunches. He'd better get hot real soon.
And another big offensive quarter. 27 points already for New Jersey. Martin. Kittles right there on the errant pass. Kerry Kittles lighting it up here in the first period. He's got 12 points. And this is the largest lead in the early going. And a 20-second timeout from Jim O'Brien.
Jim O'Brien's going to get Kenny Anderson back on the floor to try and settle this team's offense. But he better tell his players, do not leave Kerry Kittles. Paul Pierce is out, but it's not close enough. Once again, this is kind of a lucky bounce. But who's ever playing Kerry Kittles had better not leave him, because he's going to go for about 60 tonight.
He's got 12 already. Nets by 13. Kerry Kittles with 12 big points in the first quarter, and they ended on a 13-2 run. 1 quarter complete in New Jersey. Nets leading by 15. You're watching the NBA playoffs on NBC. Shot clock down to 5. Eric Williams. Martin first defends, then boxes out. Good sequence from Kenyon Martin. Celtics have missed their last 11 shots from the field, and Kittles makes it a 20-point game.
Jimmy O'Brien's thinking whether he can afford another timeout. He certainly does. If they're going to get back in it, they got to dig in right now. They got to get this score closer at the half. Importantly, nobody put a body on Jason Kidd. Kerry Kittles, he's making jump shots. That's going to open up lanes to the basket.
After they cut it to 7, Nets respond with a 15-2 run, and now a 20-point lead. 3 players scoring in double figures, and the Nets with a great first half, especially from Kerry Kittles, 14 points, and he's with Lewis Johnson.
Thanks a lot, Mike. Kerry, the story of this series, except for game 2, have been awesome first quarters by you guys. What is it tonight that's allowed you to go out and drop 14?
Very, very important to start the game off with a lot of energy. We know we're home now, and this is our place, so we have to come out the game and just set a tone.
Now, you guys are averaging 17 turnovers per game in this series. Now, how much of attention do you pay to that as the Celtics try and make the run back in the fourth quarter?
You know, taking care of the ball is a big thing in the postseason.
Sacramento Kings. That's coming up right after these messages. You're watching the NBA playoffs on NBC. New Jersey just playing a terrific brand of basketball right now.
New Jersey's playing exceptionally well, and they're ready when the game starts. We kidded Byron Scott. What does he tell him before the game? I'll tell you, it works. They're off and flying. Boston can't even find him. These are open looks. Really, Kerry Kittles is wide open. They got going there.
They win today. Game 6 would be Friday night in Boston, and then a game 7 back here if necessary. And the way Kerry Kittles, he misses but draws the foul. I think New Jersey playing right now in very good shape, but the Celtics a team with the ability to come from behind, as we'll check in with Lewis Johnson.
They said stopping the Nets from shooting such a high percentage is their focus in the second half. Of course, that means defense, and then improving the rebounding. And then I sort of walked by the New Jersey coaches and asked them, can this hot shooting continue for the Nets? Well, their eyebrows kind of went up, and they said, well...
Celtics trying to push, maybe get some easy buckets the way they've been shooting. Walker Martin knocks it away, and Kittles ahead of the pack. Anderson in pursuit. Back to 17.
I'll just give stats, Mike. 3 turnovers, first 4 trips down the floor.
That is not the way to get back into the game. Milwaukee yelling at Eddie Rush. Fouled goes
Antoine
against
Walker's
Walker.
upset. He said, that's what they did to me. They knocked the ball loose. They got a piece of my hand. We just did the same thing to Jason Kidd. We didn't get the call. Kerry Kittles gets an easy look.
Jim O'Brien used Delkin Anderson a lot in Game 4. He likes the quickness of having the 2 point guards out there.
Eric Strickland's making more things happen, particularly on the defensive end.
Kittles able to put it in. Kerry Kittles with 19. Pierce now with 24 points and 10 rebounds.
Jimmy O'Brien already has more than he would have wanted out of this quarter. He'd have liked to just be in striking range. They're much better than that.
Perfect pass from Jason Kidd as Kittles draws the foul, and he'll shoot 2.
Well, Tony Batti's initial effort made the play, too. Probably the easiest of the day for Paul Pierce.
That last foul on Kenny Anderson, his 4th. Kittles, as we mentioned, has led the New Jersey Nets in scoring last 2 games. He leads them right now with 21. After trailing by as many as 20 points in the first half, it's a 3-point game going into the 4th. We'll be back after these messages. Don't count the Celtics out just yet. For PJ Carlissimo, Lewis Johnson, producer Ricky Diamond, director as Walker misfires on his first. Walker coming off the game 5, where he shot just 5 of 20 from the field.
Well, he also told us, Jason Kidd did, Mike, that he likes to distribute the ball, get everybody involved early. He just got Kerry Kittles involved.
Kittles knocks down the shot. It's 4-0. Kittles has really played well the last several games of this series. Ball kicked out of bounds, so the shot clock remains at 16.
4-0 would usually not be a concern, but the way the Celtics have started, everybody's shaking their head going, here we go again.
If he gets it, if that gets it going, he thinks it is, he'll talk to him every day. Kittles draws the foul as Pierce bumps him, and Pierce will pick up his first. Strickland, of course, didn't play a lot in the series, but responded with a strong effort in the loss in Game 5. And he's out there again, getting rewarded for his good play as Kittles misses the first. Anderson's still going to be the playmaker and still in charge, but Jim O'Brien loves the way Strickland can play physical defense against Jason Kidd.
Well, he keyed the charge when the Celtics got back in the game after trailing.
He's been loose all game despite this a do-or-die situation. Tony Batti, nice spin move, but I don't know if he knew exactly where the rim was when he finished.
I mean, that's the kind of move Tony Batti doesn't do very often, and it showed. And Kerry Kittles needs to get going for the Nets to get back in this.
Kittles hit a jumper in the opening minute. Hadn't hit one since. New Jersey with an 8.
He's pursuing Antoine Walker right now.
McCarty for 3. And Jason Kidd with another rebound. Nice feed. These fast breaks, they happen in the blink of an eye.
Anytime Jason Kidd gets a deep rebound, a rebound out near the free throw line, he's going coast to coast. Walter McCarty's down on the floor. Boston trainer Eddie Lacerte ready to work on him when Jimmy O'Brien uses the 22nd timeout.
So that after the 3-pointer, and the Nets with that fast break, they're back within 2. Boston still in front, but barely, with 3:13 left here in the 3rd. And a word from your local station. You're watching the NBA playoffs on NBC. A dangerous pass by Strickland. Strickland can't hit that 3, and Jason Kidd, a 3-on-1 break. Kittles inside, and once again, a missed shot can turn into a fast break bucket for the New Jersey Nets.
Well, Eric Strickland's a guard. He shoots the ball from the right corner. That means one of the guards is underneath the basket. Nobody's back. Jason Kidd turns that into a layup.